guys, okay, so I thought I would do an update to how I am feeling and kind of going over and kind of debriefing my birth of my third baby, Olivia, and it has been really hard. And a lot of people say to me, like when they hear the story, like, so how are you feeling now? Like, do you get flashbacks of it? Do you have nightmares, things like that? So I just thought I would go through it and kind of tell you how I'm feeling. Obviously I've done my birth story, that's also my channel as well, you have to go and have a look at that. But yeah, let's get on with this video. So I'll give you a quick brief to what happened. I went into labour on my due date on the 8th of October, which was very clever because actually, if you look at my other two children's birthdays, I've got the 8th, the 18th and the 28th, and if you look at the times that they were born, we have 3:40, 10:04 and 3:54, which means they've all got 4s in their times. So yeah, that was pretty cool. My warts went the day before and then I started contracting on her due date, and I was in the hospital and we didn't have any of the bags because I didn't actually think that I was going to be, you know, going into full-blown labour because I've had so many false alarms, and I was just like, leave the bags in the car, like we'll be fine. And I ended up delivering her within 2 hours of like getting in the car and driving to hospital. So it was a really, really quick labour, seeing as my labour before with Charlie was 4 hours and that was induced, and my spontaneous labour with Harry was a water birth and that was 7 hours. So it got increasingly shorter as, you know, the different births. But what did get worse was my after pains, which was awful. But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. With my other two labours, they were very natural, apart from the induced bit, that was really intense, but they came out naturally. I had no tears. They went straight onto my chest and we were breastfeeding within sort of half an hour to an hour. We were cuddling, we were taking photos, we were like kind of in our little moment, and then we put a picture of us all, you know, cuddling on the sofa, cuddling on the bed, and you know, announcing it on Facebook and Instagram, and it was all very happy and very exciting, and oh my god, I've had a baby. Olivia's birth was very different, and I wasn't expecting it to go how it did. However, the only difference was that kind of put me a little bit on edge was the fact that her waters had meconium in them by the time we got to hospital. They'd been clear up until this point. She was obviously stressed, I was stressed, and yeah, she'd done a poo. So that was kind of the first bit that kind of made me think, I don't feel like this is going to go very well. Also, my contractions were lasting 2 minutes long and they were about 1 to 2 minutes apart. So it was a very, very quick, intense, you know, labour, and when she came out she was very shocked, and that's kind of why I thought that she was kind of like blue and floppy and things like that. They put her on my chest. The midwife asked me straight away, you know, would you like her skin to skin? And I said yes please, in between like and her going don't push, which was really funny. And husband cut the cord. She went straight onto me and I realised straight away that she wasn't, you know, like breathing, and she wasn't moving, and she was a weird colour. She was like a bluey, purpley, like not like a pink baby, do you know what I mean? Because the other two came out fine. So when she came out, I was like, whoa, what the hell's going on? I didn't realise that there was too much to worry about straight away, because in between, you know, me pushing her out and what have you, she'd actually asked my permission to bring the baby doctors in because the meconium in her waters, they needed a little bit of suctioning from her lungs. So there was a little baby bed, and it's called a Rosetta Tear. There was like a heat lamp and everything, and it ended up being there was 4 doctors, consultants, nurses, what have you, working on her for, it ended up being 40 minutes, but at the time I didn't realise how severe it was. At this point in my brain, I was worried about her, worried because my placenta wasn't coming out, and looking over at Matt, who was just sitting in a chair like staring over at her, because obviously we couldn't get round there was so many people around her. We just wanted to sort of keep out of the way and just make sure that, you know, she was getting the care that she needed. I was quite worried, but I knew that she was in good hands, and I just thought that she just needed a little bit of suction, a little puff of oxygen, then she would come straight back to me. But that didn't really happen, and they worked on her for 40 minutes, and I kept saying like, is she okay, is she okay? And they were like, she's trying. And I was like, okay, like how long is this going to go on for? And we were like looking at the clock, and then, you know, another 10 minutes had gone past and like nothing was really happening, and they were like, come on Olivia, come on, and they were talking to her really sweetly. and I was just sat there in like a, you know, big pool of meconium mess, and my placenta still hadn't come out, so I ended up just like pulling it out because I just got fed up of waiting for it. But yeah, that was probably like, because they were all around her and I was quite in shock, I didn't feel like tearful or anything. I felt quite anxious but still in control. So I kind of said to myself, Corrine, she's going to have to go to NICU as a worst possible scenario, and she's not going to stay with you. So I waited a bit longer, and then I called over, like, is she going to have to go to NICU? And they said, yeah, we're really sorry, like, she needs more help. She's not really breathing on her own. She's going to need to be in an incubator. So I'd already got it into my head that she kind of already needed to be there, so that when they said that, it wasn't so much of a, oh my god, like, that's really scary, like, oh my god, my baby's going to NICU. So I already kind of had it in my head. I was quite calm. I was like, okay, do what you need to do. And then, like, they wheeled her out, and then me and Matt were just sat across the room from each other like, oh. So we don't get to cuddle our baby, we don't get to touch our baby, we don't get to breastfeed our baby, we don't get to change her bump for the first time. This is like, this is weird. Like, we had this with the other two boys, like everything was fine, and now it's not. Like, this is really awful. So they encouraged me to like get up and walk and go for a wee and have a shower and eat toast and kind of do all the normal things to try and like get my body, you know, doing what it should be doing. And then after 2.5 hours we were able to see her, and I think that's when like reality really hit. So like I came in with Matt. He had to push me in a wheelchair because I was bleeding so much and I couldn't like get up and walk because I felt really weak. He wheeled me over to the sink, and then I could like wash my hands, because you have to like go in, wash your hands, and then you can touch your baby. And we were looking at her, and she was just like like this breathing was just not normal. And like I said in my birth story, within minutes of her getting there, the consultant like ushered us back out, and they were like, we're gonna have to put a tube down her throat. And then after that she looked a lot more peaceful, but it was more scary because there was now tubes and wires and kind of things everywhere. But at least she was more peaceful and she wasn't working so hard to breathe. The days sort of blurred together really, and it was kind of, I visited her like as much as I could in between like pumping and sleeping and things like that. And it was kind of like, every time I went I would ask for an update, and they would give me, you know, her infection marker number, and they were hoping that it would come down. So every time we went they would say it's coming down a little bit more, and I kind of think that like kept me going. I was like listening for the numbers, and you know, like her oxygen saturation, she was holding her oxygen a lot better, so her oxygen was coming down as well. So I was kind of really focused on numbers, and I think that really helped, along with pumping my milk and putting it in the fridge for them, so they could feed her through a tube. She felt like I was doing something, along with filming my reaction and filming how I felt. You know, I use my camera to kind of get everything off my chest, and it makes me feel so much better, especially when you guys write down in the comments. I read every single comment, your experiences and things like that. It really helps. I don't know what I'd do without you guys. You guys are just amazing. But yeah, and then after, you know, within the first few days they said to me, look, it's either going to be a 7 or 10 day course of antibiotics, and it ended up being a 7-day, which was good, but they did kind of prepare me for a 10-day or 2-week one. So when the consultant came in and said, you can go home, I literally cried happy tears. I was so happy. Now, like I said at the beginning of this video, do I, you know, feel frightened about what happened? Do I look back and get nightmares and things like that? No, I don't. Do I look back fondly at, you know, the memories? Not really, but I know that she was in the best capable hands, and that's what she needed. Sorry, my scalp's really dry. I've just bleached my hair. It's really itchy. So yeah, it was one of those things that she really needed to be in NICU. She really needed the antibiotics for a week. She really needed the £4,000 medication that she had. and yes, it was really scary, but I had a lot of support from you guys, from husband, from the nurses, the consultants. They were amazing. So all in all, I am happy with the care that she got. I'm happy with the care that I got. I don't think badly of the hospital. I didn't come away thinking bitterly about the situation. Although I do kind of feel like a whole week was stolen from us. So when people say to me like, oh, how old is she? I say, well, she's 7 weeks, but it only feels like she's 6 weeks to us because obviously we weren't at home for the first week. So I do hope that answers some of your questions to do with how I'm feeling. If you do like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to me for free, leave comments down below. I do read and respond to everyone, and I will see you in my next video. Bye ladies!